First concert I ever went to watching Motorhead at Manchester, which was absolutely mad. I was only about 15, 16, never been as scared in my life. All these rockers everywhere, but it was a fantastic gig. I went to watching Erasure, that was at the Ritzy nightclub in Manchester. That was a fantastic concert. Then I went to watching Communards live at Manchester Apollo. They were good. And then basically just live music around Atherton I watch and go and see them, yeah. It's got to be around 83. I was messing around with a couple of lads. One of them, Neil Joyce, his uncle was Mick Joyce out of the Smiths. At the time, they weren't a famous band and he wanted a lift to his grandma's in Manchester. So off we went in, and basically in the living room there was blokes sat there chatting, having a drink. To be honest, it never even realised who they were because they weren't famous or anything. It was just 4 blokes sat there. You don't ask questions because you're in the middle of Manchester. Like, it was only when we come out that he did say to us that they'd formed a band and they was actually called the Smiths, which was a bit iconic because my name's Carl Smith and I just had a little giggle, I think, to myself. And they weren't big at the time, but obviously over the years it changed. It got to be what, about a year later, maybe a year and a half later, we went back to his grandma's and he took us round the corner and we stood right in front of the Salford Boys Club when he explained to us this would be the next album, which was The Queen is Dead, which is this album, The Queen is Dead. And in fact in the centre is the picture of the Salford Boys Club where we stood in front. And about a month later this was released and I went and bought it because I'd been there and had my picture taken there as well, probably.
I listened to like a few Manchester bands like Oasis, Maximo Park. Last week I went to see Real Big Fish, which is like an American ska band, but supporting them were Sonic Boom 6, who are a Manchester ska band. Yeah, so the band came on stage, they had a massive stage presence. They were using like all their instruments, like pretending they were like Tommy guns. They were jumping them down, interacting with the crowd, and then later on, when Real Big Fish came on, the lead singer came on and they did a song called She Has a Girlfriend Now. I think it's like, the music, it's kind of a different genre to what normal people listen to, and it's all kind of like upbeat and happy, but it's kind of got like hidden political undertone, which I find really cool.
It's always the same. And then we thought things won't change. And then we thought nothing to lose.
And I got interested in post-punk because it was new music. And it was new music by people who didn't know how to play music. That's what interested. If for someone who's been trained from an early age to play music, working with people who can't play music in that way, who have to learn how to play music and do it of their own volition, is very liberating. And I was interested also in improvisation. Pin Drop's our first LP, and we had a particular aesthetic, so there are only 3 colours used, black, white and red. And it was, the graphic designer was a Liverpool man, and it was part of a scene in those days to have abstract LPs, LP sleeves, like Joy Division, the famous one with the waves. This is a kind of our version of that. And we played, you know, with Joy Division a few times, including the famous occasion in Bristol when Ian collapsed just before. And one occasion, Joy Division supported us in Liverpool at Eric's. Post-punk. We were one of those post-punk bands in the sense that influenced to a degree by the freedom that punk offered. We were still more interested in other areas of music making than simply imitating Sex Pistols.
Last week I went to see Dutch Uncles in Liverpool. They're a Manchester band, they were playing in Liverpool. And the venue is this really cool little bar called the Shipping Forecast, and it's like you go down to this basement and it's all kind of stone in there apart from the odd like lamp and rugs and this kind of thing. And there's no stage, like there's a stage area, but it's not raised, so you're just right next to them and it's really intimate. It was really, really good. The lead singer, he's got these amazing dances that he does. He'll just sort of twitch, but he makes it look really sort of artistic, and it just, you can't describe it, it's just really, really strange dancing. It just makes you feel like you're friends with them, just being that close to them and seeing what they're doing. That was a really good experience. The first time I saw them play, they were supporting Everything Everything, who are another Manchester band. And that was in the O2 in Liverpool, so more of like a stage, you know, like it's a raised stage and there are a lot more people there. I hadn't heard the music or anything, but I remember they have very like odd time signatures, and the lead singer plays the piano as well. And I do remember like anytime he played the piano, I just found it really distinctive, and I remembered that. I kept the tickets from Everything Everything and Dutch Uncles. I put them in my scrapbook so that I can remember when it was. Yeah, I'm cool, I keep a scrapbook.
So this is how it feels to be lonely.
The whole cow imagery that Inspiral's used, I think it mystifies some people as to where that came from. I used to live backing onto a cow's field, so my back garden was like constantly overlooked by a load of cows and grazing, and they used to stick their heads over the fence. So I used to photograph them, and then these pictures we used to project at gigs. I think 1987 I started making t-shirts. I mean, the first Inspiral t-shirt, first cow t-shirt was an homemade one, which was done with this like squeezy paint that you squeezed onto a t-shirt and then ironed it and it puffed up. In fact, it was called Puffy Paint. There you go, appropriately enough. And I did one of these t-shirts for our first ever TV appearance, which was The Other Side of Midnight. It was one of Anthony Wilson's programmes for Granada. And on that first ever TV appearance, I wore this Inspiral shirt with a cow on it. And a lot of people after that started saying, where do we get, can we get a shirt like that? And then subsequently I did a Cool as Fuck one, which is where I give it sunglasses and a spliff. And we made that into a t-shirt, and that became quite iconic. And it wasn't us trying to make money. It happened for you know, creative reasons really. It's just me expressing myself and my love of cattle. You know what I mean? A picture of actually my dad, who's now 78. There's a picture of him probably when he was about 60 wearing one of these, and it's on the internet at the moment with his shades on and all that. Dead cool. But it was something that I drew on a piece of paper in a mill in Ashton sometime in the late 80s. It's nice it's been recognised as something quite iconic.